When I'm uncomfortable, or nervous, or terrified, I tend to do what most people do. I pull out my phone. And in those awkward few seconds before I started talking, some of you may have even had the urge to pull out your phone as well. You know why? It is because that is what we do when put in uncomfortable situations, or any situation for that matter. We always resort to our phones, our personal escape route for anything in life that comes our way. We have a dependency on technology that is apparent in so many situations, such as two people spending time together. And do you know what always seems to happen? One, if not both, pulls out their phone, and they start texting, and they start communicating with someone that is not even there. But why? Why do we do this? Why do we feel the need to escape the present interaction in search of some fleeting distraction? I believe it is because we're addicted to our phones. When most think of the word addiction, associations such as alcohol or non-prescribed medicine comes to mind. And while these are all accurate associations, there are other things that are just as, if not more prevalent than alcohol and drugs. A tiny screen with the power of the entire world. Something that enables us to text, iMessage, FaceTime, connect, distract, escape. Yet, also a tiny screen that we can't stop looking at, even when our eyes should be elsewhere, like a laughing baby, a dear friend, or a dying loved one. At the University of Maryland, a study was conducted throughout 10 different countries on 12 varying college campuses, and the effects our phones are having on us. The information recorded was shocking. They found that students had an extremely hard time, if even able, to unplug from their devices for the entirety of a single day. More surprisingly, the signs and symptoms that the students reported having were comparable to that of what one addicted to substances, such as drugs and alcohol, would experience. Yet, the research did show that the students involved in the study admitted that disconnecting from their technological devices resulted in more quality and depth in conversations. But you still might be asking yourself how. How is it even possible for us to be addicted to a phone? Well, you see, in our brains, we produce a chemical called dopamine, and this chemical is released for a number of different reasons. One being in response to elation. It's like a stimulant that makes us feel good. And it so happens that our phones, with all of its buzzes, sounds, connections, and access, can cause a dopamine release. In other words, technology's ability to trigger a dopamine release causes it to be extremely addictive. The first time I realized I was addicted to my phone was when my family and I had the opportunity to go to Yosemite National Park for 2 weeks. When I first heard news of us going, I was, to say the least, a tad bit unenthusiastic. Because for me, this translated to 2 weeks with no phone, no social media, thus no contact to my world. I mean, how could my family possibly expect me to go 2 weeks without my phone? And God forbid I lost all of my Snapchat streaks. So here I was, immersed into nature in its truest form, surrounded by world-renowned iconic sights. And yet, all I could do was think of my phone, my Snapchat, my Instagram, Facebook, everything I was missing, everything I was suddenly unconnected to. Finally, after about a week, something in me started to change. The environment I was in, nature, was the complete opposite of my life through technology. It was slow-paced. There were no flashing lights, no new game levels. It was beautiful with no filter. And gradually, I thought less and less of my phone, and as a result, I was able to concentrate more on my family. And in those 2 weeks, I grew closer to my family, and we were able to communicate with one another perfectly. And silences in the conversation, which prior to the trip would have pained me and racked me with insecurities, were embraced by us all. We didn't need technology to provide us with any distractions or to give us false feelings of relationships. We didn't have to escape anymore. Because you see, technology has had a massive impact on our relationships with one another. Because phones provide instant gratification and feedback, it has resulted in the skewed idea that we can defy time. Through our phones, We can text someone and seconds later get a response. We can go into Amazon Prime and a day later have a package sitting at our doorstep. And the greatest is that we think we can form relationships and communications in less time than ever before. Yet, true relationships do not form in the course of a single day, much less the course of 5 minutes Snapchatting, texting, or direct messaging. Relationships take time, they take energy, and they take nurturing. Yet, technology allows us to bypass this vital growth by providing us with the revolutionary idea of unfriending or blocking. No words needed, just a click of a button and you are spared any pain or effort that may have come from that relationship. So if you're curious about what the solution to this problem is, I'm sad to say that I do not have one. As much as I would love to have it, there is no clear-cut pathway in which I can tell you to follow. I can only tell you that if we continue down this path, and at the rate in which we're going, the connections and the bonds that we share with one another will be ruined. Quality human interaction will become a foreign feeling, and the connection that once was shared between people will become a foreign concept. And all those face-to-face communications and merely the presence of one another will be gone. Yet, by no means am I telling or even suggesting that you should stop using technology altogether. It's nearly impossible. Technology has been set and integrated as the foundation of many jobs, workspaces, and schools. It's just impossible. And without technology, how would I communicate with my sisters, who are 2,000 miles away at college, or with family friends who live in different countries? But, and I think we would all agree, we must limit our use of technology. That being said, there are various methods that families, couples, and individuals have utilized to keep their relationships healthy and undisturbed by technology, like not allowing cell phones at the table during meal times to promote conversation, or providing alternate ways to have fun besides being on your phone, like taking a hike, walking your dog, spending time with family or friends, reading a book, writing a letter to an old friend. I don't care what you do, so long as it's not only through your phone. So I'm going to leave you with this. Placing self-imposed limitations on use and being mindful of the many adverse effects of technology is the only way that this problem will not destroy the quality of human interactions, communications, and relationships. So, even amidst the pressure in which our society places upon the necessity of technology, know that there are times when technology can be helpful, but also know that there are many times when it is not needed and can even be harmful to your relationships and connections with one another. So be mindful, set boundaries, and if you have to use your phone, that is fine. But if not, just turn it off. Thank you.